Commissioner, so unless anyone would like me to read it, I'm going to forego reading this to you all, because I'm sure you've probably read it by now. But in short, there are a variety of issues that my constituents have shared with me in the past year about this area. In particular, the Lyman and Lang Place, which of course is in my SMD. There have been a variety of issues with crossing the crosswalks, particularly during rush hour. And then at our March meeting last month, MPD shared that they have spent a fair amount of resources enforcing no blocks blocking laws, and the problem actually made it worse. So this resolution is basically asking VDOT to take a closer look at the problem and recommend some solutions. Discussion. So we'll go ahead and do the same thing. We'll do 1 minute of discussion for Commissioner Henderson.
I'm very concerned that an issue that affects single-member District 5, DO5, for which I am the duly elected representative, is put forward without my input and without the benefit of my constituents. And certainly, while I'm always open to any commissioner supporting his or her constituents and their issues, we need to extend courtesy to one another to make sure that we're not overstepping our boundaries. And to remind you, Mr. Roberts, when you became the chairperson of the commission, you said that your only position was to facilitate the meeting. So I would ask that you stick to that position and not interfere with my community, and allow me the opportunity to know what it is that you're proposing that potentially affects my constituents. I'm the only commissioner that actually has regularly scheduled meetings that are well attended, and my constituents would like the opportunity to weigh in on issues that affect their safety. And we want to make sure that DDOT resources are used appropriately. So certainly there's a problem at Lang and Lyman because there are no traffic signals there. So again, don't include any issues about my community without consulting me so that I may confer with my constituents. And I hope I don't have to raise this issue again.
Thank you, Commissioner Henderson, for your comments. I'm actually just going to respond very quickly to say that I actually did reach out to you on April 4th, and I shared an exact copy of this agenda, to which I did not receive a response.
Again, you keep sending it to the DC government account, for which I do not have consistent access to. I would ask that in addition to sending any information to that account, that you also send it to khenderson029@aol.com. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Henderson. And secondly, as I was saying, this presentation is actually in response to multiple constituent issues that were raised in the last meeting as well, and those are actually within the purview of the entire commission. So I'll end it there. Commissioner Lee, I think you were next.
So, for this study, this is in regards to the speeding, and I do recall that a young man was struck by a car on 17th Street on his way to school. So you're asking for a study so we might get more lights on 17th Street? Is that, or we're going to let the DDOT determine that?
So my view is that were you finished and you want me to respond?
Yeah, no, that's it.
Sure. So my view is that none of us here are the experts on how to best solve speeding issues and box blocking issues. That's what we pay DDOT to do. I think our role as advisory neighborhood commissioners is to advise DDOT the problem and ask them to propose solutions. Do I think the traffic lights are a solution? Potentially. They also are very expensive. I don't want to take on a cheaper solution. But my view, and again, this sort of follows a request from DDOT to formalize the request. One of my constituents is here, and this actually originated as a traffic calming study petition, to which they told us 17th Street could not be a party because it's a minor arterial. It's not a residential street. So it's on. Commissioner Ellis.
I don't know if we're going to do discussion after the vote, but I'm going to say this now. Is it possible that you can amend your resolution to exclude Commissioner Henderson's area so that you're if she's requesting that she handles her own issues, she should handle her own issues. So I'm proposing that you change your resolution letter so Commissioner Henderson can address her issue and we support your resolution.
Are you moving that?
Sure.
Are you moving to make that amendment?
No. I just want you to change your letter, or if you want me to make an amendment to it, that's fine. Whatever's best.
Any other discussion for 1 minute left. All right, if there's no further discussion, I'm gonna go ahead and call the question. So, if there's no further discussion from commissioners, go ahead and move that we adopt this letter as an ANC 5D letter and submit it, as it's been written. All for the motion,
Or I
please say aye.
will be submitting a letter to Director Dormsjo to address my
All for-
community.
Thank you, Commissioner Henderson. All for the motion?
Then I said it incorrectly. Can I amend your letter so that we can get your issues resolved and reported, so we don't have to do the opposition of your
Is that a question for me?
the resolution that did not, right?
So, okay, I'll just respond and say I hear the concern. Again, I did, and Commissioner Henderson, I asked that you let me finish this. I did reach out to you. I didn't receive a response. I understand their email issues. Like, there are offices that can solve that problem.
That's a
as
pretext.
I said, I'm
That's
asking you
simply a
to let me finish.
pretext.
The point that I'm
It's
making.
very disingenuous.
The point that I am making is that issues, as we know, issues
Very
in 5005
disingenuous.
affect all of our SMDs.
Very
Thank you,
disingenuous.
Commissioner. So I'm actually not willing to change it because issues.
It's
that
okay,
happen
I'll
on
deal with
17th
Director
Street,
Dormsjo.
I really appreciate
It's
it.
okay.
Let me finish. I respectfully interrupted.
You have to respect it.
Have I interrupted you at all?
You've interrupted
Adam?
my community from being able to weigh in on this issue.
Thank you,
And it's
Commissioner
very
Henderson.
disrespectful and
So,
very
thank you.
disingenuous.
So,
And it shows that you're lacking in leadership.
God.
Let's vote so we can move on with
Thank you.
my children are home.
Thank you, Pettigat. Thank you.
All right, all for the motion, as again, the letter to adopt the motion and distribute it to Director Dormsjo as read, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. I count 1, 2, 3, 4. All against, please say no.
Against, I'll be sending a letter
Count 1
to
no.
Director Dormsjo regarding this issue.
Okay, so I count 4 yeses,
4 yeses.
1 no, and 1 abstention. The motion passes.
Whoa.
Thank you, Commissioners. Next up, we have item number 17, BZA case 19173 on 1264 Holbrook Terrace.
Excuse me, my property is adjacent to this property, would it be possible for me to obtain a copy of that as well?
And I have a question.
Irene, are you ready or are you?
Does everybody have an amended application?
One more. All right, your 3 minutes.
Okay.
Start now.
Good evening, I'm Ram Ali from Ram Design, the project architect, and with me is Irene Levina, the project owner, and Rafael, with the project owner as well. Just want to give you like a quick refresher of the previous project, and this way I can go with the steps where we are right now. This project at 1264 Holbrook Terrace was originally designed as an apartment building, 8-unit apartment building, and after the June 26th change of zoning regulations, we won't be able to get that 8 units apartment building approved without going to BZA, which made us start, being on the hood for the BZA and reaching out to the neighbors and see to meet with the ANC and share the project with the neighbors. We met with the neighbors a couple times and we felt that the project is too big and that's not what the neighbors really wanted. So they listed a lot of concerns that we responded to most of them. Even though with the revisions, we still present the job, but at the same time, the concerns were basically parking, privacy, a lot of issues. I don't want to go through the details because it's a long list. But still the building was being big, massive, so which made us to go and completely scratch out the old design and start from scratch. The lot as it is around 7,400 square feet. So what we did is we subdivided this huge lot into 3 smaller lots. And 2 of the lots, lots A, B, and C, lots A and B, as you see on page 2, gives you a quick description of the subdivision. The one to the right is the existing lot, and the one to the left is the proposed subdivision. And is there tagged as A, B, and C, and lot C is what's the subject of today. So 2 of those lots, A and B, will be a by right development, putting 2 units per lot. And it's only lot C that we're seeking special exemption for that 3rd unit on lot C. In designing this property on that 3rd lot, if you look at A2.0, page 3 of the package, you'll see the building footprint compared to the neighboring property on 1262 Holbrook Terrace. The existing structure on 1260 is actually around 15 feet goes beyond the existing footprint of 1264. So in our rear addition that we're proposing on lot C, we didn't take the addition all the way back. We set it back actually 15 feet from the neighboring property. However, we set back 4 feet and we went along with the addition. So if you look at A2.0, you know exactly what we're doing. We didn't extend the addition all the way to the building 1260. So we set it back from the property line, creating like a small side yard. As far as the building height, we actually dropped the building to 30 feet. And we're keeping the structure on this as slab on grade. We're not going to a cellar below grade, simply slab on grade and with a total of 3 floors. And each floor will be its own unit. As far as the character of the particular structure, we met also with the neighbors. We heard a lot of concerns about the character as well. They reflected that the neighborhood on 1264 on Holbrook Terrace is more of like a front porch community, so that's why they wanted us to incorporate that particular element in our design. So we incorporated that part as well. We maintained the brick facades, the double hung windows, and as you see on the cover page or the elevations that we introduced the mansard roof. The reason from the mansard roof is to only visually make the building shorter. We couldn't go with a sloped roof because that top floor is still its own unit. And the only light coming inside that unit is those 2 windows that you see on that 3rd floor. And that's what led to the composition of only providing a mansard roof up on that 3rd floor. It makes the building look slightly shorter than making a flat 3 stories. So that was what's behind it. As far as the finishes, we kept the gray asphalt shingles on the top floor. And you see on the 2nd floor, we have a step out over the front porch that is actually on the slab on grade 1st floor. This is mainly the architecture of the front, and footprint is basically what most of the concerns were put out from the neighbors. And of course, parking was also one of them, and we did increase our parking count looking at the project as a whole as 3 different buildings. We did increase our parking count to 7, but looking only at lot C, you'll see only 2 parking spaces. But the owner, he said he's gonna open up the backyard on all 3 lots, and this way how we can manage to fit 7 parking spaces along the width of the 3 lots altogether. Trash will be also accessed from the back, and condensers will also be sitting on in the backyard where they will be accessed. And pretty much this is like a quick brief on what happened on the project and the changes that took place on the project. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer.
All right, so we're gonna ask that you stay up here because I'm sure we're gonna have a lot of questions about this. I think the others will do 1 minute rounds. Everyone who wants to go first can go first, and then if there are follow-ups, again, I'm gonna ask the question, I'm gonna ask that we keep it to 1 minute each. So again, as with the others, we will start with the commissioner whose area this is, which is Commissioner Shropshire.
So, I wanna say that we've had several meetings with the applicant and also the residents. We've met with them, I'm thinking at least like 4 or 5 times, going back and forth, and that's how they came up with the revised plan. So there are there are many things that have been addressed, and we appreciate everything that you all have done. And there are a couple of things that are still outstanding, and I will highlight those things. One of the things is, still that there are concerns about the footprint of the building in terms of the rear of the building. And there's concerns about the impact of the light and the shade on the abutting neighbor, Mrs. Purnell, at 1262 Holbrook Terrace. And we're requesting that there be a development of a construction management plan, because as the construction takes place, there's big concerns about like what will happen to the abutting neighbor's house. And I have a list of things that I would like to have included in that, such as installing a sound barrier, soundproofing material along the wall of the abutting neighbor, doing a pre, during, and post-construction agreement, having specific construction start and end times, barriers to prevent dust and debris from escaping around to the neighbors, and a written clause saying that you would take responsibility for unexpected damages and willingness to compensate her for anything that's lost. I'll wrap it up. I think that kind of summarized some of the bigger issues, and I just wanted to make sure that I highlighted that, so to make it known to the public that these are things that we're asking for.
And I would like to say other commissioners, looking at your rendering.
Ma'am, can I ask you this? We're gonna do commissioners first. I think the public, we'll make sure to get her opinion.
Okay.
Thank you. Other commissioners?
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson?
For one, I'm really interested in hearing from the community, just looking at the revised plans. It shows that the applicant, you have made an effort, to respond to the community's concerns. And I'd like you to continue working with the community. I wanna hear from you, because this looks a lot better than the last plan that you submitted. That mansard roof that you all submitted before was just overpowering, overwhelming, and just totally out of scale. This modified mansard roof, it tells me that you're listening. So I would like you to encourage you to continue to listen to the community, work with the neighbors who are going to be permanently impacted by your project, so that we can come away. When I say we, you, the neighbors, this commission, come away with a project that is really top-notch and that really supports everyone's well-being.
Before other commissioners respond, Commissioner Lee, there's a car blocking. Can you say that again?
Blocking the access for the police department here, the garage in the driveway in, a black Cadillac or blue Cadillac.
That's me.
Can she ask her question real quick, then she can take my minute, because I want to hear what she has to say.
Sure. Do you want to quickly just tell us your questions, so you want to take care of your car? Or do you want to wait till you're back?
I'll speak for her.
Why don't she just give her the keys?
One of the things that she spoke about is the disruption of her mother's way of living, the noise and the sound barrier, as well as the balconies. Roofing issues, 13 feet size, should be a single family dwelling to keep from obscuring her property and being sandwiched between two large properties. The adverse effect of being, for her being able to enjoy her property, proposed property height and roof does not fit to the character, is too massive, and this was prior to receiving this new roof today. Proposed property is being too obtrusive. Developer has previously harassed my mother to get her to agree with their design. They have threatened, if not approved, they would take the property to a massive 40 feet. Have not conclusively expressed how they would build without damaging the existing wood frame. We're concerned with how far back the property goes, and that will block the light and air from our backyard space. And new information submitted does not give us enough time before the 19th.
Thank you, Ms. Dumas. I think we are at minute 4, so I think we have time, unless there's a motion to extend. We do have time for one more, either commission comment, or if there are no commission comments, we can take one more from the
So
public.
I have a question, like Vanetta, what new information are you referring to?
Well, I don't know, this is not my phone, so basically, she's just receiving what was told to her when she said this is the new application that was submitted. So we don't know what's new.
Sounds like
So this is
conversation
the
needs to
same,
continue.
this is the same, application that this is the same
Well, if it's the same,
plan.
that's fine, but when she handed the flyer, she said this was the new proposed application that was submitted. So according to Felicia, it's new information to her, but if there's no new information, I'm sure she will be fine for that, me not being able to speak for her. But from the visual impact, as I see, there is some new things that's been done. Before in the previous picture, we didn't notice that there was a balcony. We were told that it was a faux balcony, that you wouldn't be able to walk out on it, and now you can walk out on it. So that would be new. The other thing that we noticed in terms of visual is that the doors, even from Ms. Cornell's house, are on the opposite side. Although the owner did say that she is willing to make that adjustment, but because they have made adjustments, they haven't made it on the application. So with the doors being switched from the right to the left, because that's where Ms. Cornell's door is, and everyone else's door is on the left.
Ms. Dumas, can I suggest, if you're done, what I'm gonna actually suggest, if there's no objections from the commission, we've given you a lot of information, I think you've not had a chance to respond, so if there's no objections from the commission, I think we can give you all another 3 minutes to
And
respond.
Mr. Mathis also has something to understand.
Okay, Mr. Mathis, can you keep it? Okay, Commissioner Lewis, I'm gonna have to cut it off there, and if we have time, we'll get to you, Commissioner Lewis.
I don't think we should extend this conversation too much longer because there are other agenda items on the agenda and this group has come before us repeatedly. At this point, they should have gotten it correct.
Okay, so there was an objection to the motion to extend, which wasn't really a motion, I just was trying to honor that, so, I'm actually gonna ask, at this point, we should be moving on to a vote, to either support or not support this application, from Commissioner Shropshire. So Commissioner Shropshire, either we need you to make a motion to, do you wanna make a motion to
I
extend?
would like to make a motion I would move to extend the time to 3 minutes so that they can, respond to all of the comments that have been put on the table.
Is there a second to that?
I second.
It's moved and properly seconded, all four say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it.
Opposed?
Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna keep it quick so that Irene will take over. First of all, to respond to the comments, there is no balconies. If you look at the second floor, there's no balcony stepping out. That's the front porch on ground level. This package is the same exact package that we came in front of the ANC and present to the committee as well. There's no changes whatsoever on this particular package since we came to the ANC last time. So this thing has been like
So this
over a
is
month.
not a walkout, it's an illusion?
Yeah, if you look at the floor plans, there's no walkout. It's only a railing on top of the front porch. If you look at the second floor, there's no doors coming out to that floor. Sorry?
We oppose that railing. It doesn't fit with the character of the existing property that is along our entire street.
That's fine. We can drop that railing down. It's only like a crown over in front of the porch. We
I'm
don't
talking
want.
the second floor.
I understand. If that was discussed at our meetings, I'm sure we could have
It
revised
was
that. But that's the
discussed.
first time we
It
hear
was
that.
discussed.
Okay, but I can say that in front of the committee that we will drop that railing to a minimum. This way it doesn't show as a guardrail. That's not the issue. Other than that, there's no change to the design whatsoever, just to correct that information. And also, I would like to respond to Keisha's comments as far as the construction management. That's something that we have done multiple times, a lot of the BZA cases, that we did provide construction management, and we did sit down with the community and listed all these comments. So whatever you want to prepare, we'll be more than happy to share that with you and go over it inside of construction management. There's no concerns there. As far as the shade and shadow that is impacting on the 1262 neighbor, that's why we have prepared a shade and shadow study that actually was uploaded, and we also have extra copies if anybody wants extra copies, showing the impact of the addition on the neighboring property. And the reason we set back the addition, the back portion of it, by 4 feet is due to the shade and shadow study that we have done. So we did consider the light and air that was impacted on the neighbor, and we have modified our building footprint to respond to that. So this takes number 2. Number 3, the building footprint. As you see on page number 3, how the building footprint was revised, and it sets back from the neighboring property. So our addition, the back addition, sets back 5 feet from the neighbor, and it goes only 10 feet beyond the neighboring property. So I don't know,
Is that
how
page
much
three?
we can push it back, sorry?
Is that page 3?
Page 2.0, the page before that. 2.0. Yep, so if you see how the number, you see 4 feet, that's the narrow side, we're sitting away from the neighbor. So the neighbor, back portion is actually, sticking beyond our, back of the building. And then goes, the 5 feet yard, and then we're putting the addition in the back. So there's, that portion was modified based on the shed and shutter study that was uploaded, and the package is here if you want some extra copies. What other comment? As far as balconies, also Keisha mentioned balconies. I think,
That's your time. Can you make
Okay,
it?
that's pretty much it.
30 more seconds.
Just one thing to clarify, the amended application that I handed out, was there anything changed that is the wording where we're no longer applying for an 8-unit apartment building? Well, it's a 3-unit apartment building. These plans have not changed, were filed with the BZA online on March 9th, I believe, and nothing has changed. So they're the same ones we distributed 5 weeks ago, they've been online for public comment for 5 to 6 weeks. Nothing has changed.
All right, thank you. So with that, if Commissioner Shropshire would like to put forth a motion, or would you like to give the gentleman to speak? Mr. Mathis, I think I can give you a minute to speak if you'd like.
We met with planning, and there was a couple things that we talked about.
Can you speak up, sir?
Oh,
Okay, hey.
I'm not used to it.
Thank you.
But we talked about planning, and they said that there were a couple things that concern them right off the bat. The height of the units, they thought should be 1 story shorter, and in the back it was much longer than everybody else's home in the area, which really, when you look at the plans, those things aren't really out there for you to see. You have to, if you look at them, it's very high light, it's very light you put here, and it's much longer in the back than anybody. There also was the reason why I bought the property in the beginning was the openness in the back. From my backyard, I can see around. Now, they telling me that I'm gonna look at a brick wall in the back, which is everybody on the right side of me is gonna see nothing but this brick wall here. Also, the side of my house is gonna be right here. I got windows on the side of my house where this property is gonna be built. I have windows, bedroom, all the way back to the back side of my house. Now I'm gonna be looking at this brick wall, which is gonna impact my airflow, which I have coming up the street to all those windows. I'm not gonna have that anymore. From my backyard, I can see the front street. I won't be able to have that view anymore. And that was the main reason why I bought the property in the first place, was to have that space like that. I think that the planner is kind of pulling our legs on a lot of things, because when you look at the plans, instead of putting numbers on how far this thing is going to stretch back, they give you a picture of how long it's going to be back. It's not clear up front how many feet behind, sticking back from the other houses in the back. You can't see it. It's hard to find that. And those are some of our main concerns. And oh yeah, that's what I was talking to. The house is going to be right up against, their property is going to be right up against mine. And if I have a problem with the side of my house that I have to repair, I won't be able to get back in there, get to my property to make any repairs on that side.
Mr. Mathis, I'm gonna ask, sorry to cut you off, but we are quite over on time on this item. At this point, unless there are motions to do otherwise, the next part of the agenda on this is to go ahead and issue, put forth a motion for us to vote on. Commissioner Shropshire, if you'd like to make a motion, this is your item.
I'd like to move that we support this, special exception with caveats, with conditions, with that you agree to develop a construction management plan that you agreed to. I had spoken to you about Mrs. Purnell having a water leak in her house, and you agreed that you would do that, help repair her roof, that there, will be, that there was a concern about disturbance of the neighbors' fences that they already have established on their property lines, that you agree not to disturb those, and that, we move forward with all the other things that you've already